I'm always on time. Welcome, everyone. This is Amazing Scale Modelers Sunday Hangout. I'm your host, Scratch and Jack. I hope your Mother's Day was a good one, and mine certainly was. I spent the whole day with Mom. I hope you guys had a good time too. So, Amazing Plastic, I should say amazing. Oh, I said the words. Amazing Scale Modelers is a Google Plus community of scale modelers of all shapes and sizes and genres and skill levels who like to share their tips and tricks with one another, learn more about their crafts, and celebrate one another's scale modeling achievements. Amazing Scale Modelers is perhaps the largest and fastest growing here on the internet on Google Plus. We currently have 2,003 members. We reached 2,000. Woohoo! Yay. And there's only 3 of us here. No. Speaking of which, joining us are scale modelers who would like to talk about stuff. How you doing, James?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. I've had a busy few days working on just about got the saucer section finished.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. What do you think, Jay? Does he pass?
Like it.
Yep.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's very cool.
I'll bring the pictures up here.
Okay.
Doink. Start screen share. Yeah, this is where we're sitting right now.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is so cool. That looks so plastic, too.
Yeah, the only thing I got left to do on this is to build and install the engines, because I did all of the detail pieces in that today. So
now, where would the engines go? I'm not that familiar with this particular ship.
Here and here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I recall, yes. Okay. Really cool.
Because, the saucer section was warp capable, so yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, the question of in the Star Trek universe, the question of whether something can or can't go into warp is always juggled.
Yeah.
You know, they always said that the original series shuttlecraft could not go into warp, but in order for it to get some of the places that it did in the time allotted, it better darn well have been able to go into warp.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's where that's sitting
That's
right
looking
now.
sweet.
So probably this week I'll be able, once I get the engines in, I'll be able to get started on the
Lamborghini
secondary hull.
Oh, look already on this project, Lamborghini. The secondary hull, okay.
Yeah. And I went visiting my local hobby shop today.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've been looking for a while. I got
Oh, Lamborghini.
the Hiroshima LB400 Lamborghini.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. And it's a plastic kit from what I saw from across the pond.
Yeah. And you should see this. This is unbelievable. This is a 1/24th kit.
Uh-huh.
This is not curbside.
Oh, holy shit. That's enough spruce, huh?
Yeah, and I've got a photo etch kit coming for it.
And if it was a AMT kit, it would be 3 sprues.
Yeah.
The body.
This is 18.
18.
18 sprues.
And so this is going to be a lot of parts that we're not going to actually see. Would that be a correct assessment?
No, you can, because everything opens up. So the doors open, the hood opens, the trunk area opens, everything's hinged. So.
And who is the model maker? Who is the manufacturer?
Hiroshima.
Oshima. Oh, really?
Oshima. Yeah.
They do good models too. That should be a very nice, easy build. Easy build meaning that all the parts should be able to fit.
I was looking at them. I don't see any flash. Everything looks really, really nice.
Very cool.
There's like 3 shades of chrome sprues in that thing. 3 different shades of chrome.
Well, just keeping in theme with your Enterprise E, Derek Sobera had built his E and lit it.
Yeah, he did a nice job on that.
This is quite amazing. And my interest is just as we see here. And I'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, he just did an amazing job. I'm not sure, I mean, did he? Yes, he did cut these windows, and he did a very good job. The very close zoom in. You got oval ends. They're not actually oval ends.
Yeah.
But I will say, as to his technique on making the ends rounded, momentarily, when I talk about mine, I'll talk about mine. I'm giving up on this. I already screwed up on the windows. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can go back to this page. Up here, there are windows, and I made the windows 1000 scale instead of 1400 scale.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's a big hole there, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do about it. But boy, he did a phenomenal job. The windows themselves are already squared off, but it's easier to let them rounded because of what happened to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get into getting these intact, these spaces in between the windows intact,
yeah,
you're picking at the ends to corner them off, and if you keep at it, you'll just cut this thin little plastic, and you'll end up with a big window.
Yeah.
He did not do all of them, which would probably keep him sane.
Yeah, the ones that are blacked out, he didn't bother to cut open.
Right. So that's probably a hint to me. Maybe I can fix it and keep them from being lit up. Yeah, it's one of these up here. I messed up.
Well, you can always fill it.
True.
You can always fill it and then recut it.
True. What would you fill it with?
Well, you could do anything. You could use, you could use molding putty. You could fill it with a styrene piece. There's different techniques you could use for filling it.
I think a styrene piece would probably be the winner.
Yeah.
On it to fix that. But he certainly did a really good job on this, and I'm actually quite jealous. Oh, there's all the windows lit up.
Yeah.
These look like they're all lit up. No, not quite.
No. Still got some snark.
Yeah, they're right in here. These two over here on the end turn into one big hole. Yeah. Yeah, I probably will get back to it, but I will show you what I have been indulging in, make it less, how should I say, psychologically difficult.
Yeah.
Because they're bigger windows. Yeah. I pulled out a Revell of Germany Voyager.
Yeah.
And boy, this is such a pleasure against the Revell, the original cast. One, the plastic is thinner, probably by maybe a half a millimeter. You say, well, that's only a half a millimeter, but when you're cutting holes, it really matters.
It makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And in this kit, unlike the Revell kit, they made the windows all in one, make them look like one hole.
Yeah.
On this kit, they put the spaces in between. And this is about as far as I got. And this is what I do when I'm watching television reruns on the computer or watching YouTube. But I'm gonna work on this too, because I think it becomes very tedious if you sat down and say, okay, I'm building this model. I'm going to cut all these windows. It gets really boring and then when it gets really
Yeah.
boring, you pay less attention and you make mistakes.
Yeah, you get tired, and you start getting careless. Yeah.
Yeah, very careless. But so maybe I have the kit I have for the E is very unusual because I basically have 1 3/4 kits of that model kit. I bought a lot from someone,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a whole bunch of E parts in a box, and so I can't fall back on another, on another part. But I've already gotten pretty far in cutting a lot of windows, so I think you're right. I think perhaps I should stick with it and maybe make it up with styrene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
you can always it's one thing, you can always fill in if you make it too big
Yeah.
and then recut.
sure.
What you could do, Jack, this is this little bottle here. This is just it looks like white glue, but what that actually is styrene sprue that I cut up into small pieces and then poured in some liquid model glue, some Tenax, and just let it sit until it dissolved. So this will, you can scoop it in like putty and such, and after a few days, once it gases out and hardens, it's styrene.
So that's sprue with Tenax. What's the chemical name of it?
Well, it's just regular, any of your liquid model glues. This is Tenax that I use, but I mean, any of even acetone or something like that will work.
Acetone. Yeah, I have used acetone. That seemed to gas out quicker, I would think, but I don't know.
It probably would, but yeah, I just chopped up a bunch of little pieces of sprue, and the nice thing of doing it this way is if for some reason you want to build one of those glow-in-the-dark models and not paint it, you can chop up the sprue and you can putty in your, putty in the seams and everything with actual glow-in-the-dark plastic. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't.
That's actually a good idea, because what you're saying is that if I were to fill that hole up with this concoction, once it's hardened, I can probably just go ahead and try to cut the hole again, or cut the windows again.
Yeah.
Oh, well, who knew? Because I never really pictured that. I should experiment with that. Because I think I did it one time because somebody suggested it, and I do believe I saw Model Man Tom talk about doing that to glow-in-the-dark kits, just as you said, because you would never know when you need those sprues to fix something. And I tried it. I just threw some sprue in with some acetone, and it seemed to melt it quite well. And I used it for something. I can't recall what it was, but as I remember, it was pretty well set. In other words, if you put a glob on that on a flat piece of styrene, let it cure, you'd be hard-pressed to knock that glob off, that piece of styrene. It actually fuses because of the
it would fuse right into the styrene. Yeah, it would eat right into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you really want to make sure you're doing it right, chop up some sprue from the kit that you're actually building.
Then
because that way you're using exactly the same
plastic
styrene mix that they're using.
That's true. That's very true. See what you learned? I mean, I think I'll try that. More to be seen, because since I'm working on this house, melting styrene and acetone is probably the only thing I have time for. So how you doing, Jay?
Doing good. Been working on a few different things. Haven't been able to work in the shop as much as I would like to because of, well, you know how city inspectors like to sometimes come and look at the house and say, oh no, that's not code, you need to fix that, and things like that. So been doing some of that kind of stuff, but I've been doing a little bit more work on the Daedalus.
Do show.
Well, it's over there with primer on it that if I move it in the dusty environment right now, it's going to get icky, but I'll check it before the show's over and see if I can move it. I kind of got into the mood to do a scratch build of something that doesn't exist on Star Trek Enterprise, they talked about the first warp drive ships that were made on Earth. The Phoenix was the first one. That was the Zefram Cochrane ship. And then the I can't remember what they called it. I think it was the NX Beta. Yes. Was the first Warp 2 ship, and then they just mentioned the NX Delta as being the first Warp 3 ship, and then they started on actually building the NX-01. So I thought I'm going to build an NX Delta, and there's no engines on it yet, but this is my idea of what the NX Delta might look like. This is not going to be one of the engines, but obviously the engine's on here and everything. And I'm just, I want it to be a small ship, but not the size of a fighter like the other ones were on the show. So this one would be a little bit bigger, and I've got a lot of tiny little fiddly bit detail to put on. Mm-hmm. And like that, but I'm building this as a desk model so that it'll just, it doesn't light or anything. It'll just sit on a stand, on a desk, but just something to have a little bit of fun.
Cool.
Haven't even come up with a paint scheme for it yet.
I see.
But that and what else? Been doing a little more clay work, and do I have a lighter here? I built a torch, an alcohol torch. An alcohol torch that when I squeeze it, it blows air through the alcohol flame so that I can concentrate heat on certain areas. When I'm working on things, to just kind of, when I'm working with certain kinds of clay, it's nice to be able to heat it up real quick and soften it so that I can do things, with that. Or sometimes when I'm working with plastic and I want to bend it and I don't feel like breaking out a torch or a heat gun. Mm-hmm.
Well, they do make, chefs have little torches like that too, little butane
I've got one of those, but an alcohol flame is a lot cooler.
Yeah, it's a lot cooler.
But it's a lot cooler as in less hot, not cooler as in classy, So,
why, don't you want to burn your fingers?
I've done that enough. I mean, I posted something on Facebook recently. This actually does have something to do with modeling. We gave our rats a bath this week.
Oh dear.
And Deanne suggested that I put on some of these Kevlar wrist covers, which we have, and also have these, which they don't look like much of anything, but these are actually Kevlar gloves.
Yeah.
So, that we've got a bunch of these Kevlar gloves, Kevlar, arm sleeves and everything, which begs the question, why the hell do I cut myself so often if we've got these things, So, but that's just the way things have been going. I've been rearranging the layout here a little bit just to kind of get things into an order where I don't have to climb over things to get to things I use a lot. Mm-hmm. An ongoing process. Never-ending process.
Well, I found myself, if you give yourself a small space, you keep in that small space.
Yeah.
If you give yourself a big space.
Well, I do silly things like I used to keep my masking tape over in a drawer back over there until I realized, well, you know what? I'm using the masking tape a lot, and so I moved it to the wall over here, where it's right next
where
to
you're using it, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a new product that's on the market. It's a Tamiya product. This is actually, these are all Tamiya tapes here, but this is a Tamiya tape specifically for doing curves. Oh. And it actually, you can run some really nice smooth curves for painting and such with it.
Like a vinyl tape?
It's more of a vinyl. It seems to be a white vinyl tape of some sort, and I've got some other vinyl tapes that I've used, but that stuff just seems to curve a little bit better. Not available in any hobby stores that I've found in the U.S., but it is available, online from like eBay or something.
Uh-huh.
And I also ordered one of those mini T-squares, like you showed me. It was,
one
yeah,
one of these.
Yeah, I found those on Amazon, and they wanted $27 plus $7 shipping.
Yeah.
So I found a site in Japan that had them for $9 with $4 shipping.
Yeah.
Well, this T-square cost me only $5, so I got.
I've got some like that as well, but I'm talking about the really tiny ones. So.
I don't know why I have my T-square here because I don't even use it really.
Here's a handy little ruler that you would like, Jack, and you might also, James. This is see-through brand ruler, which is pretty standard. I mean, it's a
I like a graphics ruler. Yeah.
You mean like this one right here? Like this one?
Not quite, because
that one's got the cross hatching on it.
This has the cross hatching on it, but it also has a metal edge.
Oh, it's got a metal edge on it too.
It's got a metal edge on one side, so you can lay a X-Acto knife down on it.
Yeah.
Nice. That actually comes in really handy.
I've seen the
I
ones
had a wood one like that.
But the clear is nice, but that I bought it because it had that metal edge on it. So. Okay, I'm done now.
You don't have to be done.
Something I picked up this week. I was in my art store, and they got in some bookmaking supplies.
Oh, okay.
Started carrying bookmaking supplies. I picked up a bookmaker's awl.
Yeah.
I find it to be the greatest thing, rather than using toothpicks for applying glue.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can wipe that off real easy.
Because the glue won't adhere to it.
Right.
I find it's working great for $4. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, you see, what I found on my workbench is a potato chip clip that I have no potato chips for. That's what I found on my workbench.
The other thing that I did build this week, I actually have to take my belt off to show you. Don't worry, it's not going into naughty territory, but I like to carry this. This is a just a Stanley version of a Leatherman tool.
Yeah.
I hate the leather pouches that you get with these things. I really despise them, and so I discovered that my bandsaw cuts sheet metal nicely. So I made a sheet metal clip that sits on my belt, and it stays there, and I can just reach behind me and slip it off to be able to use it and then put it back on. I can't get on an airplane with it, but,
No.
I'm not planning on getting on an airplane in the near future, so... But it's just kind of handy to have. I have been starting to work with materials that I haven't used in a long time, like sheet metal, sheet aluminum, and things like that. Jack, you were talking about soldering earlier, and I had this very old brass. It holds liquid. In this particular case, it's got denatured alcohol. But I also realized that it kept evaporating. So I emptied it out completely, let it sit for a while so that it was empty completely out, closed it up, pushed down on it, blew into it, and all around the edge here was leaking.
Yeah.
So I clamped it in the vise and heated it up with a torch and ran some flux and solder around it, and now it don't leak no more. So not a lot to do with plastic modeling, but
Well, is it something like that you would do in plumbing? You have the acid flux that you apply separately.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it that way. Because in electronic use, it's already included.
Yeah.
However, you don't want to do that with something that thick, that big.
No, not with that particular kind. This is what I use. Just this solid core solder and some separate rosin.
So I got a little quiz not a quiz for you. I want you to guess the name of the member I'm describing. Maybe a year ago, a year and a half ago, he was always asking us incessantly about doing lighting his models. Do you know who I mean?
Writing?
Who was wanting to light his models, and he was always asking everybody incessantly about LED lighting. He's like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. I says, oh, this is easy. This is easy. You know who this is?
Well, I can think of a few.
Well, Jimmy Shiner is probably the fastest.
Yeah.
He's probably the fastest learner I've ever seen as far as when it comes to lighting. He is brilliant. Is just the best way I can describe his building. Do you know what the? Oh, it's the Nautilus. You can see it. This is the Nautilus.
That's the Pegasus. That's the Pegasus model kit Nautilus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went all out, and he did very good in paint too. By the way, I think he did a very good job. It looks like being singles treated him very well.
Yeah, that's a. I have not yet built it. I've got that kit. I haven't built it yet, but
it looks like a nice kit.
It's pretty nice. It has some photo etch with it, and you can buy aftermarket photo etch as well. But it comes with photo etch, some photo etch parts.
It's not really very large now that I'm looking at the transistor battery there.
No, it's not a huge kit, but it's detailed. I forget who it was that did that using that one type of paint that it's an iron-based paint that you can actually put vinegar or something in, and it'll really rust. He painted it with there's one person painted that model with that so that all the seams were rusted and everything. But I really like the way he did that, and when it's lit up, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. And I got to put kudos out there for the model maker for paying attention to a decent stand for the model. There was another picture here, too, and I got to go hunt for it. He did take pictures of the interior. He does have an interior for this kit.
Yeah.
Is it a part of the kit?
Yeah, it is. It does come with the kit.
With the interior.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Although, like I said, aftermarket parts, Paragraphics, I think, makes some aftermarket parts for it that have more detail, for the interior and such as well. But
I know Jamie put a photograph of a carpet in there.
Yeah,
took an image of a carpet which you laid in there.
I'm actually trying to hunt for it. I wish I got to get a new computer. That's all there is to this. To make it a little quicker. I just bought this because it came with a screen, and I don't even use it. I like the screen, that TV screen. I'd like to get a bigger one. Now, at one time, I didn't have enough screens, and now I got too many because I can't settle on one. Yeah, where's the one with the interior? Okay, come on, Jamie. I really want to show this because I saw it and I was floored instantly because I didn't expect the model to have an interior for one, and two, the amount of work that he put into it, which was extremely well done.
Yeah, he's got there's a big lounge that goes in the center of the floor, and there's an organ too, and a desk, I think.
Okay, I think I have found it. I don't know. I don't think it's lit or anything.
Here
Maybe
are.
it is. Oh, it is. It is lit. He's got. That's what kind of fascinated me is that. Oops, there it is. He put strip LED to light it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got a globe.
Yeah, this is the parts on the sprue. Here's the couch. and the organ and a bookshelf. I'm sure there's other things in here too that are on other sprues. Like I said, I haven't built the model yet, but it's nice. This is the photo etch that comes with it.
Oh, that's a nice sheet. Yeah.
And it's also, what is that on the back? Like I said, I haven't even built this yet. Well, it's got a whole bunch of little. Okay. This is a window painting mask. Yeah, it comes with a masking set, so you can mask out the windows and paint it without driving yourself completely insane. That's a nice. It's a nice little kit. I just I have not gotten around to building it, but it's a little bigger than you'd think. Here's the main body.
It's about 12 inches? Yeah.
I'd say it's probably about 12 inches long, maybe a little better than 12 inches with the front spar on it and such.
Yeah, that's I can't say it's a very large kit, but it looks very detailed.
It is very detailed. It's a nice looking little kit, and 83 pieces. I know that because 83 pieces. I know that because it says ship 83 pieces, photo etch sheet, squid base, and logo plaque.
Yeah.
So, but it's a 1/144th scale, and it looks to me like it's kind of a mixture of the Disney design and the original book.
One from the book, yeah.
Well, there was something else I'd like to bring Jamie on the wise with. I saw he had his 9-volt battery attached to it, and he can get a wall wart adapter to produce as much voltage as you want, whatever voltage you want, 3, 4, 6, 12, 9, and have a male and female plug. This is, I do believe this is the RCA speaker.
Well, you can buy those coaxial plugs, yeah.
Yeah, so if you get these, because there's a lot of the 9-volt wall warts that have the same female end. So you would put the male end. They have the male end. The female end, you would put it in the model, and you can plug it in to the wall. I wonder if he knows about that. Do they have power strips in the UK like we have here?
Yeah.
Well, their plugs are like. Oh, sorry, our plugs are about this big. Theirs are like this big.
Theirs are a little bigger because of their standardization, but they do have. You can get power bars. You can get power.
So yeah, I mean this model he just built probably doesn't even pull a watt. It probably pulls about 800 milliwatts, I would guess, because he used a couple of regular LEDs and LED strips. So there's not a lot of wattage there, so he can easily get that changed over. And if Jamie, you're watching, definitely look into that, because yeah, the 9-volt battery works and it's all quaint and all, but battery life is only so long, and if you want your model lit for a long time, that would be a thought to do.
He tends to like using batteries as opposed to a wall wart.
Yeah.
That seems to be what he's more comfortable with.
Well, yeah, I can see using the battery for testing while you're building, but I guess if that's what he's comfortable with, but I still would encourage him to do those wall warts. I still would.
Well, another thing that I've done before, I've had people who've wanted the ability to they said, definitely I want batteries, I just want a battery. But then later they said, is there any way that this could be made to run on, an adapter? And yeah, I didn't want to have to rewire the entire, like the base and everything to be able to plug an adapter in. So what I did was I cut the end off of an adapter and just took another, the connector that goes onto the 9-volt battery.
Yes.
Took that connector and wired it backwards, so that you could take the connector, and the connector was on the 9-volt adapter, and you just plug that into the connector on the model, so you could run it with battery.
You actually can buy the adapters with the reverse 9-volt.
I'm sure you can
on them.
I'm sure you can, but I've got like several hundred of those
Yeah.
little 9-volt clips with wires hanging off of it. So
Yeah, like I know because you like to when you buy them only like 25 at a time in a bag.
yeah,
I know.
basically.
I got a bag full of them here too. So.
Mhm. But yeah, that's just another way that it can be done too. I really prefer to use the wall warts like Jack says, just because of the fact that they do, especially if you've got LED strip in there, they will suck the batteries dry pretty fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they. Well, you're talking about wattage, but I'm not even sure what an 9-volt battery, what wattage it can handle.
Well, a 9-volt battery will run an LED strip without any trouble for a while, as long as it's not too long.
Right.
Because I even though the LED strips are tend to be listed as 12 volt, they've got resistors built into them, so they can go up quite a bit higher. I remember when you tried to burn one out once and couldn't.
Oh yeah, I had it on my tester. I put it up to like 25 volts, and it still held in there, even though it's gauged for 12 volts.
Yeah. But 9 volts will run one nicely. I built a prop for some friends of mine that had maybe about 8 inches of LED strip in it, and it was on the back of a glove, and that runs off of a 9-volt battery, and it runs for quite a while. But
speaking of, Jamie has just gone electric crazy. This is all stuff that he's posted on the community, and I'm just noticing it actually. He's got himself his Cylon Raider.
Oh yes.
Testing his engines.
You know, the sad thing about using LEDs, and this is that's not a Cylon Raider. That's a Snowspeeder.
Snowspeeder.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a Cylon Raider. Okay, Snowspeeder.
But the camera always picks up that really tiny hot spot. So in real life, the engines can look like they're just lit beautifully, but on camera you get little dots.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like the Enterprise E that I showed earlier had the hot spots, but I'm sure in person those hot spots are not really there. Yeah, cameras are pretty sensitive to that stuff, especially with LED light. So what do you do in that respect? I mean, you can do so much frosting on them.
Yeah, in that respect, if you're going to be taking a lot of pictures, I suggest photoshopping just to blur it a little bit.
Yeah.
After the fact, because there's really not a lot you can do.
There's some filters you can put on your camera to reduce that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, in person it doesn't look quite that way.
I picked up some incredibly small LEDs recently. Let me see if I can find them for you.
Yeah, please do. I'm having trouble bringing the community back up now that I went over to Jamie's page. It's probably one of those Chinese finger traps, you know? You go to his Google Plus community, can't get out.
Sit there on hold till the memory clears. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Liam while he's going to do something. Liam took over the Across the Pond Hangout yesterday, and I watched the video. And what I like when somebody else does this show is that people concentrate on other things besides what you're interested in.
Yeah.
I'm interested in specific things while he's interested in other things, and that's what makes it so wonderful, really. So thanks, Liam, for doing it. If you ever watched this video, thank you. And he said, yeah, he'll do it some other time too if I ask. What does that tell you? Maybe he's going to take over. This is the first time the Irish are bidding for world domination. So what is it you have there, Mr. J?
Well, these are incredibly tiny little LEDs. I haven't even taken these out of the bag, but I'm let me bring myself up here so I can see if I'm getting a. You
got the microdot SMDs.
Yeah, here. Come on, focus, you little bugger. Focus.
I think I can help you out.
Okay, there we go. You can see my fingernail,
Yeah.
Yep.
and you can see how tiny those are.
Yeah, the micro dots.
And these are pre-wired with resistors on them. But believe it or not, that derelict model from the Lost in Space derelict that has the Jupiter 2 that's about that big.
Yeah.
I'm actually building the fusion core so that it rotates using these things in an Arduino board, just because
That'd be cool.
because I'm crazy.
It's just you see a challenge and you want to see if you can do it.
Oh yeah, but they come in packs of 5. Although I did get a couple of packs that had 7 in them for some reason, and I've tested them and they're incredibly bright. So I'm going to have to keep them down.
So this is pretty tiny, if it's focusing, and I'm about to wire it up to some electric.
They're very
And
bright.
in the United States, we say electric and not electric.
Get some of that electricity stuff going.
Yeah.
Oh, poo. Is it showing up?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
It gets off pretty good light for being so darn small. This is running on 10 volts. I'm going to crank it up to 12. Well, it's actually 12 and a half, not that much brighter on camera. But that little sucker can be pretty bright.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at, I have to say. It is hard to look at. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing something that's specific, it's probably like running lights or something, this would be perfect. It's the right size. But actually, if you wire it just right in the model, you would make it actually look like the actual thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, especially if you're working on something that's got really a tight space
Oh,
in
that
it.
too.
Like,
Yeah, I had the Klingon Vorcha class. There was a spot that was extraordinarily tight for even a 1.8 millimeter regular LED. These SMDs are lifesavers when it comes to very tight spots. And it's lit up too. Although you can use fiber optic for that too, just the same in that particular application. But yeah, these certainly do help quite a bit. What is he doing?
I'm looking for a wired up something with a battery on it that I can show you a full thingamabob that does the doohickey the way I want.
Yes.
He's like the antithesis of the science guy.
Yeah.
You can't find anything. Moving on, let's just take a look at a few more models here. Yoshifumi is just amazing.
That is a nice. I'm trying to think of is that. I think he said. I think that's the Fujimi kit. 700.
It certainly has a style, a paint style.
Yeah.
He has a paint style which is saying it's Yoshifumi, Yoshi. Wow. But of course, what's this?
700 scale water lines. They seem to be getting popular all of a sudden. But
this certainly says this is his model.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how Phil is doing. I think has he come up for air when he, has anybody heard from him? He's building like a 1-to-1 scale military air gun. what seems to be 1-to-1 scale.
Okay, I found what I was looking for, Jack. These are
oh yes,
little LED panels that I picked up. I've got a bunch of these. I've probably got about 40 of these, and these little buggers are intense. Hopefully, I've got it wired right.
Whoa!
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Come on, stay on there, you little bastard. There, and
oh my God!
I mean, you can. I could use this as
A lighting panel.
I could use this just as an LED lighting panel for, camera work and such. And they're incredibly bright. I look at this and I see some sort of Starship engines or something like that, because but those run on 12 volt, and they don't seem to run less than 10.
I have found on the internet tape. It's almost like LED tape. It's one like what you showed in a square, but we're talking about a particular length.
Yeah.
And the other day, I saw there was some sort of movie star or music star. I don't know who it was, but she wore a dress that was pretty similar to a wedding dress to this award show, and it lit up. The whole dress lit up.
Probably electroluminescent tape or electroluminescent.
Yeah. Oh my God! It was amazing. It was amazing. That is starting to get popular, or at least I hope it becomes popular, to light clothes.
Well, that's one of the things that a lot of cosplayers will use is the electroluminescent tape or cable, or things like that, because the stuff didn't used to be all that bright, but now it can get incredibly bright. It runs on pretty high power. It actually runs on house current, but you can have a battery pack with an inverter that changes it into the power you need. But they are really something, and they stay nice and cool. It can be a lot of fun to play with. But just look up EL tape or electroluminescent tape or electroluminescent whatever, and you can find that stuff. And for model building, I think that could be just incredible to play with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it would, particularly if you're doing these larger scale starships. I mean, there's some people doing pretty big stuff, namely Simon, our friend Simon.
Yeah.
Simon Merckx. You know what? He doesn't show very much about how he does things. He did say that a lot of stuff is proprietary. He does not give everything away.
Mm-hmm.
Get everything away.
Well, if he told everybody how to do it, everybody could do it, and then nobody'd want him to do it. That just wouldn't be right.
Well, it is what it is.
I love Simon. I love Simon. I usually like to show how I do something. I'm not a big one for, well, this is my secret way of doing it, because I figure the more people who know how to do things, they'll take it and they'll come up with some method of using it that I never even thought of, a better way to do it, things like that. So I figure get it out in the community, get it out for people to use. They're more likely to experiment with it if they don't think it's some big secret.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm a firm believer in sharing the skills, for sure, because so many people out there are intimidated by doing certain things because they don't know how, and they're scared to even attempt it. Then if you show them how to do it, all of a sudden, well, that isn't all that bad.
And I think it needs it. I think the modeling world needs it.
But I got to interject and say, by and large, though, what works for somebody doesn't necessarily works for you. And I think the example I brought up with Jamie, he asked just about everybody that at least I know in the community about this, and it's true. I mean, it's I don't know. Not to take away anything from Simon, I certainly don't want to do it by saying this, that if he did reveal something, it wouldn't necessarily work for someone else per much the same way. But I think, though, with community situations, it's sort of like, okay, I do things this way, and if somebody's a beginner, they'll try it, but they're likely going to end up doing it differently anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in art school, I had a teacher who had a saying that I think is one of the most profound things I have ever heard, and I'm not even making a joke here. His saying was, knowledge is not experience. And that is absolutely true, because you can know how something is done, but unless you've actually done it a few times or a few dozen times, I mean, hell, I know how to hit a tennis ball, but I don't want to go up against like Bjorn Borg or somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and the actual experience of doing it is, I think, in some cases more important than just learning.
Yeah, it's all about building the skill set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's building a skill set.
You know, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because I guarantee you, anybody out there who is an expert at anything who says they've never made a mistake is lying to you.
Lying through their teeth.
By the same token, though, and I've seen and I've heard, and I'm not sure if I have it on tape, but Simon even did say that the professional he is, does like looking at amateur videos for the reason that everything is new to an amateur, and sometimes he picks up a little tip there too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the if you're afraid to make mistakes, you'll never be able to do it. And the simple fact of the matter is, the experts have made more mistakes than the average.
Oh, sure.
You know, it's just what it is.
Speaking of, I'm getting a scratch building itch too, even though last time I scratch built something, I was about 13 years old, which was, oh gosh, that was too long ago.
That's 6-7 years ago, something like that.
Hardly, if that were the case. If I were that young and know what I know now, I probably wouldn't be in trouble so much. Anyway.
I would.
Scratch building.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Our best wishes go out to Ken, because Ken and his family did get mixed up in the Alberta forest fire, or how would you call that? But no fatalities. We know that he is okay. But all the best to him. But of course, this is the Tyrell Corporation in Blade Runner. In fact, Blade Runner was on TV just recently, and I happened to catch the very end part of it, and it's like, you know what? I don't want to watch this. I want to watch the whole movie. So now I'm kind of hell bent and getting that movie and watching it again. It's been so long, I can't recall exactly what it was about. Which is great, because if you don't remember something, watching it again just makes it all new.
Yeah. Relive the experience.
There's a wonderful new, reasonably new television station that they're carrying on our cable called Comet, and they run a lot of old science. The old science fiction and horror movies that I saw as a kid in a little movie theater called the Vogue Theater in Minneapolis. They would always run a double feature on Saturdays of horror and or science fiction movies, and a lot of these movies I had forgotten about, and all of a sudden they're on here again, and it's like seeing them again. For the first time.
Yeah,
I hated Blade Runner when it came out. I thought it was the most boring film I'd ever seen, but the theatrical release version is not anywhere near as good as the director's cut or things like that. For example, if it's got Harrison Ford narrating it, it's not as good. It's not as good a version as the versions without him narrating. Mm-hmm. It's just they're very different movies.
So Ken doesn't really know how to work small. Not at all. The guy has no idea what small means.
Well, oh yeah, the Orion.
Yeah, Orion. He says this is going out for release. I'm not sure where exactly. It's I don't know. The guy has a website and he sells a lot of scratch build models. They make molds of these things and
Larson Designs.
Larson Designs. There you go.
Yeah.
And he says that the landing pad is not going to be included. Well, you know what, Ken? You're going to just have to force someone to build one of those by scratch build. But his work, you know what? This guy is just amazing. He's just amazing.
He does incredible work. I love looking at his stuff and stealing everything I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know. I think that landing pad's pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, some of those stands look like some of the things I've been seeing lately, remodeling the house.
Oh, yeah.
Plumbing pipe. But, yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. And I hope the best for him. I hope everything will be okay. So how big is that fire there, Mr. James, since you are a Canadian?
It's fair size. They're scared of it doubling and leaking over into Saskatchewan.
Wow. Wow. Covering 2 provinces, and your provinces aren't exactly small places.
No.
They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of things happening there. Anyway, I'm looking for one more screen share from our community because looking at models is like looking at pornography. Lots of fun without without your partner or spouse walking into the room and say, "What are you gawking at?"
Yeah.
Ob Cesar is just another one, a lot of fun to watch too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, a Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken. A car.
It's definitely got wheels.
Ah, the Mercedes. Okay, wrong Mercedes. Yeah, a really cool kit. Oh, I thought of Ferrari. This is a
Nice.
Formula One car, then.
Yeah. I was looking at some car kits online this week that I thought were fantastic. Don't want to play the price tag, but they're like, are Poacher.
Oh, really? I've heard of them.
Oh, they're fantastic. But you want to spend $1,000 for a kit, but their detail is fantastic.
I'd rather stick hot spoons in my eyes.
I'm still kind of scrimping and saving to buy the what is it, the 22-inch Eagle.
Yeah.
Well, I want that kit, but
How much is it?
Well, around 150.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not terribly expensive, but if you want to get the aftermarket parts with it, you're getting up closer to 400. You know.
Yeah, it's like $135 for the large bells for the.
Yeah.
And $65 for the set for the retro bells.
Yeah.
Is that the one Lou was showing yesterday on the Cross the Pond?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've always liked the Eagle because it looks like something that could have been built by NASA.
Yeah.
It's just it's a
minimalistic, totally functional type design that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I'm going to build that, I want to build it right. And the only kit that's been out for so long was, I think it was AMT.
Yeah.
Was it that did it? And that one it's okay, but you know, it's only 12 inches long and about 11 and a half inches of it is not all that accurate, you know, so it's just...
I just particularly like how you all change the subject to science fiction.
That's all I've got in my mind lately.
We look at a Formula One car, and what we come the Eagle from 1999, Space 1999.
You mentioned or James mentioned expensive, and that's
I see. Okay.
that's what clicked it in my mind today. So you know.
So our other friend, Randall, went to the North Down Model Railway Society Annual Exposition 2016, held at the Bangor Grammar School. I just thought that was because, you know, in England they can't do like big venues like a convention center, perhaps. They go to a grammar school. And here we go.
Nice.
I think I saw this TV show. It's called The Land of the Giants.
Now you're bringing up science fiction.
There we go. There you go. This is so much fun. This is fun stuff. I like this. I like looking at this stuff. He's got a number of pictures here, 106 pictures.
Mm-hmm. I love model railroading things, but I refuse to get involved in them because I know that model railroading will suck away your entire life.
As well as all of your free space.
Yeah,
all
there you go.
Space, all of your free time, all of your relationships.
Yeah.
When you start making things like this, this is very realistic.
Yeah.
Wow. Give it to the Brits to make it this realistic. This is really cool. This looks like a picture frame that's been turned over or right side up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually makes a good stand for stuff like this. Looks like cheesecloth. Really nice.
Those are nice. I love World War II armor.
Oh wow! Look at this tank.
Siege gun, yeah.
The siege gun, yeah.
The Germans didn't build small small things. I mean the German leave it to the Germans. That we would go. Where's a nice flat place we can build a rocket plant? They would go. Let's hollow out this mountain and build it in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything has to be over-engineered.
Yeah.
What was that? This looks like a broken. Oh, this is an interesting scene.
No, that's a siege gun, but it's like a dragon skid type.
Yeah, but I just think the modeler's view of this, of course, very much appears it was an explosion inside the tank.
Yeah.
And then left for rot, and then you see these two kids taking a look at it. I just think the vision of some of these modelers is quite somehow unnerving in a way, because they're really telling a story here, and maybe that's what modeling should be more of, maybe for some people, is to tell a story. Yep. Go back, Jack. This is so cool. Look at that, the broken pipe with the water spilling out of it.
Oh yeah.
Way cool. Boy.
only a landlord would notice a broken pipe with water.
Well, landlord no more.
Yeah,
I know. It's really funny because my last tenants, as bad as they were, they never called me, and that's a landlord's fantasy. But as it turns out, it wasn't exactly a good thing either. So yeah, he just has oodles of pictures of this stuff.
Yeah.
106. Thanks, Randall, for sharing. That was great.
Those are cool.
So anyhow, folks, boy, we overextended our time. We started 5 minutes late. Now we're 3 minutes over. How's that?
Yeah. We did well.
We actually pulled it off. I don't know how interesting it was, but I enjoyed listening to you too. So.
Yeah. The comments, and if you want to comment, you can go to my channel and leave a comment on this. I'll post it in about an hour, and with its cover and all that stuff. But if you are interested in the first time watching this, yeah, go to my channel and check out the other videos, all full of information as it was today. We talked a lot about running the LEDs in a couple of model builds, such as the Nautilus and the Star Trek Enterprise E, which involved a lot of LED work. And join the community too and start modeling. And I'd like to thank everybody who didn't show up, because we certainly had a good discussion without you. James, thanks for joining us. And
You're welcome.
Boy, that E is turning out a lot of fun too.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm really enjoying it.
It does look like you are enjoying that build particularly. And Jay, it's good to see that you're well and and I love that scratch build. It's looking pretty interesting.
Yeah, if I can come up with a cool paint job for it, I think that'll be fine.
I think it looks good the way it is.
I want to shade it a little bit at least, but the engine, I'm using the lathe to make an engine and detailing it up and everything, and then I'm going to make a mold of that so that I can just cast a couple to put on there, because I don't want to try to recreate the same thing twice.
Right.
It's easier this way.
And this is your host for the host Scratch and Jack, your host for the Amazing Scale Modelers across the pond and the Sunday Hangout. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And in my biggest fantasy, in 2 weeks, I'll retire.